In a world that feels like it's spinning faster than ever, with new challenges, new opportunities popping up constantly, what really drives business success, like long-term success? How do companies not just keep up, but actually thrive and innovate, stay ahead of that curve?
Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into a really interesting piece from MBNCNEWS. It's dated August 20, 2025, entitled The Landscape of Business Network Today.
Yeah, it's a great source. It really digs into the critical shifts happening right now and the strategic imperatives, what companies have to do for modern innovation. It covers quite a bit, the internal culture, collaboration, how companies partner up externally, and obviously technology's role in all this. Right. So our mission today really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from this for you. Give you that shortcut to understanding how to navigate, maybe even thrive in this new landscape. Think of it as your essential playbook for staying ahead, maybe even leading the charge. We've talked before about this crazy pace of change, the need to innovate constantly. But what's really holding companies back, it's fascinating. The source points right at this fear of failure. It says it's maybe the biggest blocker for creativity, for taking risks. What's the core idea there?
It is a fundamental shift they're talking about, psychological safety. What that means practically day to day is that your half-baked ideas, maybe even projects that don't quite hit the mark, they're met with curiosity.
Curiosity, not criticism.
Exactly. Constructive feedback, not, blame. The whole point is to nurture a growth mindset. So setbacks become learning opportunities. You build a more resilient workforce, one that's actually innovative, because psychological safety, it's not just about being nice. It's really the only sustainable way for an organization to learn from mistakes and genuinely innovate. Failure becomes data, not a dead end.
Okay, that sounds great in theory.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's tricky to implement, right? Without it feeling a bit forced or, I don't know, artificial. What are some real practical ways companies can embed this, maybe even some counterintuitive ways?
Well, the source does detail some specific things. One really interesting one is having failure awards.
Failure awards. Really?
Yeah, to recognize, maybe even celebrate the bold projects that failed but taught the company something important. It signals that risk is okay, even encouraged. And leaders, they have to walk the talk. Openly share their own mistakes, what they learned. In team meetings, making time for proper after-action reviews, focusing on root causes, process improvement, not who messed up. That's crucial.
Right, focusing on the what and why, not the who.
Precisely. And another big one is creating dedicated innovation labs or sandboxes, places for low-stakes experiments where the main goal isn't immediate profit, it's just learning.
So it's really about reframing failure. It's not a stop sign, it's a detour that might teach you something. How does that then connect back to performance reviews? Does that need a total rethink?
Oh, absolutely. It requires a definite shift. Instead of looking only at the final outcome, the source suggests evaluating things like, an employee's willingness to experiment, their collaborative spirit, how well they learn from both wins and losses.
So the process matters as much as the result.
Exactly. It signals that the journey of innovation is valued. And crucially, leaders need training on how to give feedback that's constructive, forward-looking. Feedback as a tool for growth, not condemnation.
Okay, so fostering individual courage is key. But how does that scale up? How does it change how teams actually, operate together? The Force talks about moving away from those old rigid structures, doesn't it? The hierarchies.
It does, yeah. Those rigid top-down models, they're just not cutting it anymore. Modern problems are too complex, too interconnected. Breakthroughs often happen right at the intersection of different fields, different types of expertise. And this isn't just about scheduling more meetings. It's about facilitating really deep cross-functional collaboration. Like, think about involving someone from customer service right at the start of product development.
Instead of just at the end when things go wrong.
Exactly. They have invaluable insights into what users actually need, what frustrates them. That leads to a much better, more customer-focused product.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like getting a sneak peek around a corner you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
So what are the practical ways to make this deep collaboration happen? Sounds like more than just, telling departments to talk more.
You're right, it needs structure. The source suggests things like creating dedicated project teams with people from, say, engineering, marketing, sales, support, right from the beginning.
All in the same room, virtual or otherwise.
Yeah, working together from day one. Using tools helps too. Of course, good project management software, shared digital workspaces, regular cross-department workshops. Some companies use models like squads and tribes. You might have heard of that from Spotify.
Small autonomous teams.
Right. Small, autonomous, multidisciplinary teams, the squads owning projects end to end, often grouped into larger tribes with a shared mission. Also crucial, setting shared goals and metrics that cut across departments. Like instead of separate marketing and sales targets, focus everyone on, say, customer lifetime value.
Aligns everyone towards the same bigger picture.
Exactly. And they also mention things like rotational programs, letting employees spend time in different departments, builds empathy, breaks down those us versus them walls, and even just creating dedicated spaces, physical or virtual collaboration hubs for informal chats and brainstorming.
Okay, this is all really interesting, especially the next bit. The idea that, while not all the brilliant ideas have to come from inside the company, the source calls this open innovation. I mean, it sounds logical, but how does a big company actually look outside for ideas without it just becoming, well, chaos?
That's a really important question. It needs a systematic approach, not just random conversations. Open innovation basically means you're deliberately, strategically looking outside for new ideas, new technologies, different expertise. This could mean forging partnerships with agile startups, collaborating with universities on research, using crowdsourcing platforms.
So actively seeking external input.
Right. This source gives an example, a big corporation partnering with a small, nimble tech startup to pilot a new digital service really quickly. The corporation gets speed and innovation, the startup gets scale and resources. It's about acknowledging, look, the best ideas can come from anywhere, and often do.
So it's more than just being open-minded. Are there specific structured ways to engage with these external partners effectively?
Definitely. The source points to a few methods. One is creating a dedicated venture arm, like an internal investment fund, to actively scout and put money into promising startups that align with the company's direction.
So investing in the future, literally.
Exactly. Another approach is setting up formal innovation challenges. Basically, you put a problem out there and invite external teams to solve it, often for a prize or a partnership. Some companies use an open source model for technologies that aren't core to their main business. Let the community contribute, improve the tech, attract talent. Engaging with universities is big too, sponsoring research, internships, guest lectures. It's a pipeline for fresh thinking. And just fostering a general culture of looking outwards, encouraging people to go to conferences, participate in online forums. But crucially, you need an internal process to capture and evaluate all these external ideas. Maybe a dedicated scout team or a central platform where ideas can be submitted and reviewed.
Right, so you need a way to actually process the input. Now, if we connect all this back, technology, it feels like it's not just, a tool for innovation anymore. It's almost shaping the entire landscape itself.
It absolutely is. Technology's moved from being just an enabler to being a fundamental driver. Think about AI and machine learning. They're not just automating tasks, they're analyzing huge amounts of data to find hidden patterns in customer behavior, identify market opportunities you'd never see otherwise. It gives a solid data foundation for what to build next.
So smarter insights driving innovation.
Precisely. And cloud computing. It provides incredible agility, scalability. Teams can collaborate seamlessly across the globe. Plus, you have digital tools for rapid prototyping, getting quick feedback. The speed of iteration possible now is just, well, unimaginable even a decade ago. It creates this dynamic ecosystem where ideas can be tested, refined, and scaled incredibly fast.
That sounds incredibly powerful, almost like giving your business superpowers. How can companies proactively use technology to become innovators rather than just, reacting when the next big thing comes along?
Well, first off, it's a mindset shift. Seeing technology as a strategic asset, something that drives value, not just a cost you have to manage.
Moving from defense to offense, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Proactively seeking out and experimenting with new tech. One way is to have a dedicated team, maybe call it future of work or emerging tech, whose job is just to research, test, and recommend new tools and platforms. The source mentions a retail company playing with augmented reality for virtual try-ons. That could totally change how people shop for clothes.
Wow, yeah.
Integrating data analytics and business intelligence tools everywhere is key too, making data-driven decisions the norm, not the exception. And leveraging these newer no-code or low-code platforms, that actually democratizes tech. It lets people without deep coding skills build solutions, drive innovation from the bottom up.
Okay, so if we pull all these threads together, the psychological safety, the cross-functional teams, looking outside with open innovation, harnessing technology. What does it all mean for the long game? It sounds like it's about constant motion, right? Innovation isn't a project with an end date.
Exactly that. The source really hammers this home. Innovation has to be continuous. deeply embedded in the strategy. It's not enough anymore to launch one cool product and then coast. The market, customer needs, they're always shifting. You have to adapt constantly. This means moving from being just product-focused to being truly customer-centric, always understanding and solving their evolving needs. Businesses need to be, as the source puts it, agile and resilient, able to pivot quickly, respond to challenges, seize opportunities, almost anticipate them.
That sounds like a massive undertaking for any organization, big or small. How do you actually make that continuous innovation a reality? Get it out of the strategy documents and into the day-to-day.
It definitely requires a solid strategic framework and has to start at the top. Clear, visible leadership commitment. Leaders need to champion innovation, put real resources, money, and people behind it, not just talk about it.
So walk the walk.
Absolutely. Then you need clear metrics for innovation itself, beyond just the usual revenue and profit. Things like, what percentage of your revenue comes from new products launched in the last, say, 3 years? How many new ideas are being submitted and tested? How fast can you get from idea to market?
Measuring the innovation engine itself.
Right. And building that culture of learning and experimentation we talked about. Creating safe spaces to test ideas, providing training in things like design thinking, agile methods, data analysis, and finally, building what the source calls a learning engine, a systematic way to capture insights from all projects, successful or not, and share them across the whole company. It creates this collective pool of knowledge that helps everyone innovate smarter next time. They get stronger over time.
So, bringing it all back.
Hmm?
What does this mean for you listening, whether you're leading a team, running a business, or just trying to navigate your own career in this changing world?
I think the core message is that innovation isn't some separate thing you bolt on. It's not a department down the hall. It's really about embedding change, adaptability, curiosity right into the company's DNA, making innovation a natural, continuous outcome of how the organization is designed and led.
So maybe, in a world where the only constant really is change, perhaps true innovation isn't just about building new things. Maybe it's more about constantly rebuilding the way you learn, the way you adapt, and how you courageously explore the unknown. Something to think about.